Okay, and that was another fantastic song, I Wish. Now, the sound of Philadelphia, Gamble and Huff, did you ever, were you ever a part of that? Did you ever perform anything under Gamble and Huff?
That's a good question because people think that we did.
Right.
But actually we never performed any music for Philly International.
Really?
We never did, you know. It was a thing where we were so close, you know, the record companies were close, Philly International and Nickel Shoe Music, that was our record company.
Nickel Shoe Music?
Nickel
Okay.
Shoe, yeah. And so we were always, you know, the Intruders, the Delfonics, you know, like we were this hometown and we used to travel. So we were kind of connected like that, but we didn't do any business. You know?
Okay, because the sound of Philadelphia, you are the sound of Philadelphia.
Yes.
And what does that mean to you? What do you think defines the sound of Philadelphia?
I believe, to me, I know it's the arrangements and the way the production was presented back in, you know, in the forming of the sound.
Right.
It was the production, you know, it was, you know, the way that we did things was like different, you know, we used
yeah, I mean the French horns. I mean, how many groups back then were using the French horns?
Well, Tommy took us into another zone there, and I know for a fact, you know, because Tommy's idols back then were Burt Bacharach.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Of course.
Burt and the boys, you know. Anyway, he was like influenced by their arrangements.
Okay.
So he was kind of, you know, he put us like that big time Frank Sinatra thing, you know, French horns, you know.
Yeah.
So Tommy put us where nobody else was going with R&B kind of.
Really.
So that was a big part of, I think, the Philadelphia sound was the arrangement and the production. We have many arrangers in Philadelphia, Bobby Martin. We have many arrangers who played a role in, you know, forming the Philadelphia sound.
Right.
But we all, you know, kind of like all of them use great string arrangements. We always use Diamondado, you know, Norman Harris, Bobby Eli.
Okay.
All these guys used to play on our sessions. Earl Young. Earl Young was the drummer. And he played like, I mean, he put your song like in the right zone, you know. He played on La La. He played on a lot of hits for the Delfonics. So it was like, I think it was, you know, as far as I'm concerned, it was the musicianship and the production that made us, you know, the Philly sound.
Okay, now Tommy Bell, he produced your music?
Tommy Bell was the producer.
He was the producer. Now, did he do the arrangements?
He did the arrangements and the production. You know, what he did, Tommy used to do a melody, and he would, you know, let me tell you, when we were sitting around doing these things, Tommy would take your suggestion. If you gave it to him and it sounded pretty good, horn line like this, because I was always involved, you know, and if I said something, like on our first record, we played, like I played the Bell Tree on the La La Miss I Love, on the He Don't Really Love You.
Oh, really?
So I was like doing stuff like that and playing little extra parts. So Tommy was like, he was like an innovator, and he was like, I think he was like one of the best producers out of Philadelphia. I think he was one of the main reasons that we have a sound, we can say. Even the Spinners. Okay. You know, you take a group that came from Detroit or wherever they came from, they end up with the Philly sound. Right. The OJs, you know, end up with the Philly sound, you know what I mean? So Philadelphia was definitely, you know, is a unique place, you know, to do music. Right. Now, I know that, of course, you and William are brothers, so, you know, it's kind of natural, I guess, if you're going to form a group, that you guys would be in a group together. Now, where did Randy come in at? Was he your friend, a neighbor, or where did you guys meet him? Randy was our neighbor. And that's Randy Kane, third. He was our neighbor, and also his brother, Jerry. See, when we formed this group, you know, professionally, when we had our first release, it was only 4 people involved. It was Jerry Kane, Randy Kane, William Hart, and myself. Okay. And so we were involved in the Delfonics, the 2 brothers, you know. Okay. Randy and Jerry and Will and William, you know. Okay. And that's how we started the group out. So you 3 were the singers, and his brother. He was the drummer. He was the drummer.
Okay.
And that was, you know, he had a good gig with us, you know, because he was getting the same amount of money that we were getting, you know, as I said, you know, because that was unheard of back then, because everybody had a band, you know. But see, but Jerry was, I don't know what happened, but Jerry, he went with the Intruders. He got to be friends with the Intruders, right? So he wanted to break up and go on the road with them. I said,
really?
I never understood it, you know.
Okay.
But it wasn't mad because, you know, because he wasn't a singer,
right.
so it didn't affect us, you know, as far as our performance was concerned. You know?
Right.
That's what happened.
Okay.
And so it ended up being Randy, William, and myself. And so Randy was, you know, he was like a part of the group.
Okay.
Know?
And then also, of course, Major Harris.
Major Harris came in when Randy left the group in about 71, 72. Randy left the group, he had a problem. So Major came in, he was a perfect fit.
Now, did he sing with you before or after that? What was his biggest hit, Major Harris?
Love Won't Let Me Wait.
Love Won't Let Me Wait, of course, one of the biggest songs ever. Yeah. Now, did he perform that first and then join the Delfonics? Or?
No, he was with us in the beginning. What happened was they had somebody wrote this. I think Bobby Eli wrote this hit, and we were in the islands. You know, it was funny. We were in the islands. We were doing a job. You know, I think it was in Bermuda somewhere. Anyway. Major got a phone call.
Okay.
It was funny. I mean, you know, and so we had like another day left on our gig, and Major got on the plane and went back to Philadelphia to record, and didn't tell nobody he was leaving.
Really?
That was crazy. You know?
Okay.
I'll never forget that. But the next time we hear Major, he got a record on the radio.
Oh my goodness, are you serious?
Yes, yes.
So wait a minute, he was performing with you guys, and he left that gig?
He left that gig. But somebody called him from Philly. I think it was, I guess it was Bobby, or maybe who was Butterball.
Okay. One of the biggest DJs, Butterball.
At that time.
Yeah.
So they hooked it up, you know, and so he, I mean, I don't know why he kept it so secret.
Right.
You know. But anyway, that kind of like was the first time that he, you know, left the group after, you know, that's when he did the hit, Love Won't Let Me Wait, after he left the group.